Welcome to selfdiscoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Love of Our Animals. I am your host, Sarah Troy, right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com, and my guest all the way from Australia is Joanne Watson. And we're going to be talking about your pets behaving badly. Is it a reflection of what's going on around them? Is it a reflection of you? Or is it kind of a tendency they're trying to get attention and they just don't know how to grab it? She says she wants more people to know about the options and how to get your pet to behave differently. And she can do it over Zoom. And one thing that COVID showed her is that many different and often surprising things can be accomplished over a Zoom now. And this is one of them. She firmly believes in fixing pets behaving badly because life is stressful enough without having our fur-legged family adding to that stress. They're supposed to help us calm and relax and have fun, not add to the turmoil or the burden of life. Also, in the case of anxious pets, they can harm themselves, and we don't like that either. Christmas can bring out a magnifying of behaviors because everyone's excitement and stress levels rise. So does theirs. So the definition of behaving badly is under naughty in the English Oxford Dictionary, where naughty is described as badly behaved or disobedience. So if your pet isn't doing what you want, then technically it's naughty, disobedient, behaving badly when compared to the set of rules. She has spent a lot of time working on how to fix these problems with her own animals, and now she's here to help others. We definitely want to know how to do this. I don't have a pet at the present moment. I do have a fur cat that belongs to my wonderful 90-year-old housemate. And she's got us trained completely. So I
They
am the
do that.
massage and the treat woman. Um,
Yes.
when I move, I am definitely getting a pet again because there's something about an animal that is an extraordinary companion, becomes your best
Yes.
friend, your confidant, always there for you, brings you such joy and happiness and just the simple things of life. Yet they're
And
not asking for
unconditional
the
love.
unconditional. They want walkies,
Yeah.
they want their treats, give me dinner, and now belly rub. And I was with my son this last weekend, and I was sleeping with the dog under my arm and the cat on my lap. All right. And it's, you
That
know,
sounds like heaven to me.
oh, it's absolute heaven, but you don't want to turn over because you don't want to disturb them. And they don't care, they'll just get back on you again. But we're so conscious of it because we're just loving it so much. So
Yes,
why
exactly.
why does an animal behave badly? Let's take a dog, for instance, because that's more the common one. Why
hmm
do they behave badly?
Usually it's they're trying to communicate with us. Most animals want to be a good pack member.
Mhm.
And so they know the rules and they're really quick at working out the rules. And you would know that just with your experience with animals that you've had, that you said something, that your housemate's cat comes to you for massages and treats.
Yes.
She knows exactly what to do for you. It's a bit like kids when they know they go to mum for going to sport things and goes to dad for academic things or whatever it is. Because
Right.
I know in my family, if I wanted anything horse related, I'd go and ask mum. If I wanted a day off school or wanted to go on an excursion or something, I'd go and ask dad. Animals
If
are
you want to
exactly
be
the same.
spoiled, you go to grandma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so bypass mum and dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
and and animals very quickly work out our the buttons that they can
Mhm.
press for us to get what they want,
Mhm.
or yeah, basically how to use us or motivate us for things. And when they're behaving badly, it's to give us some sort of message. And that's why they use support dogs for people who have epilepsy or diabetes,
Yep.
because they are so good at noticing changes in us at the really micro cell level. And that's a dog can pick up when an epilepsy episode or a diabetic episode is happening way before our diagnostic tools
I
can
know.
can pick it up, way before, and that's way before the person themselves knows. So that gives them a much bigger window
Hmm.
in order to action their plan, whether that's have their medicine or get to a safe place or get home or ring whoever they need to ring. They can action their plan, and often that means they don't go into that episode
Yes.
because they've actioned it really, really early.
I
Um,
have a friend
and
with epilepsy, and she says that countless times that her dog has saved her life, just
mm,
from her, like in the middle of cooking and having, it's coming on, and either she could set the house on fire or herself on fire or whatever, and the
yep,
dog literally pulling her away, from
yep,
the stove. And it's just that their instincts are absolutely beautiful and incredible, especially when they're
yeah,
honed in.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And so that's what our animals are picking up from us. And like
Mm.
we can have a bad day at work and come home, and just before we walk through the door, we can say to ourselves, right, leave that all behind, put a fake smile on my face. I'm going to walk in really happy. You will fool everybody in the house except for the dog or cat.
Yes, yes,
Just they'll know.
yeah.
And that's why often people who don't like cats, the cats will jump up onto
Mm.
them because they know that they need
Yes,
something, and that um, the harmonic level of their purr is very calming for
yeah,
us and very
yes,
healing for us. So even if you don't like cats, it still works if they're purring
right.
and they're close to you and you can hear that. It's really good if it's on you and you can actually feel it.
Yeah, the heart to
And the
heart
same,
almost, right? Yeah.
yeah. And horses have a very similar effect. Their heart range of calming for people is up to about a meter and a half. So you just have to you don't actually even have to touch the horse, but if you just get in within a meter and a half of their space or into their space,
Mm.
then that can have a really calming effect on you, on your heart and your
Boy, do
whole
we need it.
metabolism.
Do we
I
need
know,
it? I
I
mean,
know. And that's why
dogs.
people love them.
Exactly. I mean, they give so much and they ask for so little in return. But I mean, there's
Yep,
also dogs for post-traumatic stress. I've done many a
yep.
show on, veterans or, people who've had trauma in their life and how a
Yep.
dog it just kind of knows when the stress level has gone up or when they don't feel safe
Hmm.
in an area. There's one gentleman who was a veteran and also a canine cop, and he was saying he would go to sleep with a gun under his pillow. And then
Hmm.
at night, he would have the shadows of the past coming out of the wall at him, and you'd want to shoot it. And when they
Yep.
got a dog and the dog slept on the bed, he's never gone under the pillow again. So,
Yay.
just shows the impact that they can have because they're so common. In fact,
Yeah.
they're actually breeding dogs for people. They specialize in women who are abused or children that have
Yep.
difficulties. And so they're breeding animals for that because there's such a long waiting list for it.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and we need those
And like
animals.
us, there are some that are more attuned to
Mm,
humans than others. So that's why, if you get a family, a bloodline that is more attuned to the humans, then that's why they're breeding them for those sorts of things as well.
yeah,
And it's just amazing. It's just
yeah,
amazing. And we all know, or at least have heard of, and probably have laughed a little bit at it, um, the animal and the owner that have the same injury or the same
yes.
walk or the same whatever.
But they begin
That's
to
because,
look alike.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And so I don't mind if I have to look like my horses. It'll be fine. My
Nay.
husband might have a different view, although he probably says I nag him already, so I'm probably there.
Well, I am an act.
Yeah, I've been to wife school. I know how to do that. Yes.
I have a lovely
Um,
story of one of my dogs, a border collie. Border collie was my breed. I won't have one next time. I'm too old, but
yep.
this was my breed, and so I had four of them, and this was the third one. I'm in South Africa, and I had been given some anti-anxiety pills. But
Hmm.
what they made you do, they felt like, oh, you're high as a kite and you can fly. And I'm driving along the coast where it is a sheer drop of rock to the water.
Oh,
And I'm
dear.
coming up to a bend where you can actually stop and look over. It's beautiful, but it's also a suicide one. Why they never put a bar up, I don't know.
Oh,
But
wow.
people would drive off. And so
Yep.
I am just driving along, ha 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 ha. And my dog barked at me and I barked back at her. She pawed me and I pawed her. She then took her whole body and threw it on top of me.
Right.
I was driving stick, so I came to a stop with my tires on the edge of the cliff.
Thank goodness for your dog.
How she
Oh,
knew, I don't know. She knew there was
yeah.
danger. She knew I wasn't in the right state of mind. I snapped out of
Yep.
it very quickly. They took the
Yep.
drug
Thank
off
you.
the market because many people did die actually from it,
Oh, dear.
committing suicide from it. But just we're here today because of her. And it's
Yeah.
just incredible their
Yeah.
instincts. And when people say, insult an animal, just like an animal or just like a dog, I
Yep.
put them up higher.
Me
I put
too.
them up higher than most humans.
Me too. Me too. And like through a different lens, that dog's behavior could have been naughty.
Yes, yes. Why
But
you
in that
bother me? I'm
situation,
driving. Yeah, exactly.
exactly. But
Yeah,
in that situation, it was perfect, perfect
absolutely.
behavior.
It's,
So,
it's
so that,
well,
sorry,
I
that's
mean, I
why.
just want to hit on the cat. When you talked about you come into the cat, you'll find you want to get on with with chores or cook the dinner, and the cat is in and around your feet. You're thinking it's asking you for food, but maybe
Yeah.
it's picking up your stress and just trying to give you a little loving, right?
Hmm. Yep. So in that situation where you're likely to trip over them, it's
Mm,
a good idea to pick them up, give them a cuddle, and then
yes,
take them away and put them somewhere so that
right.
you've had that little bit of loving
Yeah.
and you've removed it from, because I know I trip over her all the time.
They're
And I'm
just
like,
trying to
oh,
give you some love.
yeah, yes. And then thank you for the message. Thank you for the calming and the
Yeah.
love. I will go
Catch you
slower, I
later.
promise.
Yes.
Yes. So, and that's what they're doing when they're pooing or sorry, pooping or peeing on the carpet or
Right.
something, or barking and seems to be at nothing.
Mm,
They're they're trying to tell us something because they're picking up maybe not from us, but from the environment that there's
yeah.
something that's not quite right and a danger to their pack. Because
Right.
that's
Yeah. Because we are part of the pack. And I know
yeah.
with my children, I have three, and the other two were above her, but she was always in competition with my youngest. And it's like trying to be above her in the pack. And in some way she was, shh, don't tell her.
I think my dogs think my husband's at the bottom of the pack
Okay. Yes, exactly.
because he's the one that they can easily get past, and cadge another treat out of. Whereas Joe's got no, no. I know you've had three.
Yeah.
No,
And the droopy eyes, come
yeah, I
on.
don't care.
Yes.
Go
Oh,
see
yeah.
Ken.
Yes.
Go see Ken. He'll give in, not me.
But do you also find that, that they have a way of worming their way into the heart and the conscious where they make you feel guilty if you don't give them something?
Um, yes, yes, that's true. But that's us, not them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that's just them, like kids, playing the system and playing it to their advantage. And like with children, we have to have a set of rules and for their best interest. So, like, it's like kids, it's not a good idea to let them eat anything and everything that they
Right.
want and get so overweight that it's a
Mm.
health problem for them.
Mhm.
So it's same rules as people and children and stuff.
Do you also
Yeah.
find that, if an animal is edgy and playing up, it's just maybe they need a damn good walk or run,
Mm,
get it
mm,
out of their system because,
mm.
they're feeling pent up, especially if people have been working all day, come home. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
they know you want to go and get that glass of wine and put your feet up, but they want walkies.
But also, you probably need that
Yeah.
walk.
Mm,
So it's a two-way thing.
mm,
They want to go for their own benefit, but they know it's a good way for you to calm down and to release whatever it is that you've been doing that day.
mm.
Because we also have an advantage over them in that they can pick up that we're stressed.
Yes.
So, like, assuming for some reason I was a bit nervous about coming on here and talking to you. I mean, I know that would never happen, but
No,
just
definitely
just
not. No.
pretend.
Business at breakfast. She runs it. Don't worry. She's got this.
And if I was nervous about this, then my animals would pick up on it.
Yes.
And okay, we talk for a while here and then we finish and I go, oh, that's good. That was great. I really enjoyed it and I'm not stressed about that anymore. The dogs can understand that I'm not stressed anymore, but different personality types, some of them might go, but I don't know what it was that she was stressed about. It still might be out there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they don't always know when it's time to relax.
Mm. They're on guard.
Yes, yeah.
Mm.
Like people, some
Yes.
people never relax.
Yeah.
And some people never get motivated, so they're always super relaxed. And we have
Yes.
dogs like that too.
Yes. Vlop. Yeah.
Yeah, which can be an issue too. If you're a
Mm.
type A personality person and you've got
Mm.
a super relaxed dog, it might be trying to show you this is how you relax. Maybe you've probably never seen someone relax before, Mum. So this is how you do it. Come and join me.
Yes, and I think that's, our children teach us so much, don't they? As we're raising our children and helping them learn what they're discovering, we're discovering, and
Yes.
it's a good reminder sometimes to be kind of more childlike, to be lighter and have more fun in the world. Well, animals do exactly the same. When
Mm.
people say to me, well, how do I ignite my heart again? I'm feeling so injured. And I say, go
Hug a
out in
horse,
nature.
hug a
Yeah.
dog, hug
Yes,
a cat.
exactly. Go and watch a dog chasing a stick. Go and watch a kid,
Go and
riding their
throw the
bike.
stick for the dog.
Yes. Right. If you can't crack a smile, just simple joy, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, if there's a different issue here. But
Yeah.
those animals, just like children, just bring about a heart smile that
Yes,
kind of just
exactly.
release things completely.
Yes. Yes. It's that's so true. That's just so true.
Now, can cats be used as therapy cats? Because I know dogs can and they could be trained for it, as horses can, etc. But cats really do have a mind of their own.
You're right in that they're a completely different animal type of animal. Yes. But I find mine very therapeutic. There's
Mm,
lots of people that are cat people and
mm,
don't really relate to dogs at all.
yeah.
And you see lots of pictures and videos on the net of cats doing
Yes,
weird and wonderful
I
things, but
know.
in different situations, it could be life-saving and
Mm,
life-changing for their owners just
yeah,
because the cat woke them up and there was actually a fire in the house, or there
right.
was a snake that was going up onto the bed, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in Australia, so we get in
Yes,
the country, so
lots of
we
snakes.
we get snakes. But something that they know is different, even if it's just that somebody that they don't know is knocking on the door, they
Right.
might be a bit nervous and come and get you or something.
So
Or
whereas we
they know
might, you're right.
sorry, and then you know that they know you're stressed, and so they
Yeah,
jump on you and they do that purring thing.
right, exactly.
Hmm.
But what we're inclined to do is push them off,
Yep,
dismiss them.
yep.
And that is not the thing to do because it's like, what are they trying to say? Is it that they just want to hug and it's an inconvenient time, just like a kid
Hmm.
coming, in the middle of you
Hmm.
doing something they want to hug? Or are they
Like a
really
Zoom
trying to say,
call.
like a Zoom call? Yes. So, it's pay attention, like slow down a little bit ourselves to pay attention. What really are they trying to say? Because
Yes.
we impose our thing on them and brush them aside or not now or this that, and it's like, but they're doing their job and we're not paying attention to that.
Hmm. Hmm. And when you've got more than one animal, and one animal starts a behavior,
Mm,
and then we take no notice of it, and then one of the others start the same behavior, and then another, and we still take no notice of it, and then another one starts back. We then blame the animals and say, oh, that one taught that one, and
yeah.
then they all learnt it. And because, when really they're just trying to up the ante because they don't speak English and we find it difficult to speak dog or cat or horse, then or llama or chicken or whatever it is we're supposed to be speaking, then they try and up the ante. It's a bit like when somebody a migrant comes to your country and
Mm,
they don't have English, very good English, and
right.
we're trying to converse. You're doing a lot of hand signals and um, miming and all that sort of stuff to try and get your message across to them. And that's what they're doing. And some people, when they're talking to someone who's not from an English speaking background. They try and help the person understand by talking slower and louder. And it's
Yeah.
not that they've got a hearing problem, it's
No.
that they don't understand English.
Yes.
And so that's what the dog or the cat or the horse is doing. They're
Mhm.
upping their ante and they're trying to shout to help us to understand. But we're not understanding that the peeing on the carpet is actually to say, you're really stressed at work. You need to find a way to de stress, whether it's find a new job or find a new hobby or something.
Why
Um,
is it peeing though? I mean, my dog would do that, and I didn't know that it was stress, or I think it was I thought it was a kidney problem. So what is the thing behind the peeing?
um, if you are a traditional person, you would just say that it's marking the territory or that they're trying to attract your attention for something. And they're right for attracting your attention, but usually they're not trying to be nasty about it. It's just that different people have different buttons to push.
Mm,
Like because I'm on 50 acres and my nearest neighbour is a mile away, the closest one, 2.5 k's away, three
hmm.
k's. Um, I don't really care if my dog barks in the middle of the
Right,
night.
exactly.
But when you're in town and you've got someone that's only, 200 foot that way,
Yeah.
or in an apartment building, you don't want your dog barking. So a barking dog for that person in an apartment is much more of a trigger than it would be for me. So the dogs wouldn't bother barking. I mean, they would occasionally, but it's not a usual thing.
Mm.
And I've got tile floors, so I don't really get that upset when
Yes,
they have an
exactly.
accident. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
if you've got plush shag carpets or something, then that will be a very big button to push for you, and it'll be a very big
Oh,
trigger for
yes,
you.
because it goes right through,
Yeah,
to the
and the
lining, to
cleaning.
the floorboard, and you
I
cannot
know,
get rid of that smell.
I
You cannot.
know. They've
They've
been
marked
there.
their
That's
territory
why I've got.
forever. Yeah.
That's why I've got tile floors now. Well,
When
one of the reasons, and the house had it when I bought it, so that was just a plus.
yeah, easier to clean, definitely.
Way easier.
So,
Yeah.
do you think that when people get animals, that they should be trained? We're always talking about training the animal, but what about us receiving the training?
Well, that's part of training your animal is the person
Hmm.
um, being trained as well. So that's why it's a really good idea when you're having your animal trained to not hand it over to the trainer,
Hmm.
but for you and the animal to go to the trainer and both learn together. So they often do that. In Australia, that's the usual way of doing it. Um, but I know from watching TV that there's a lot of places, and it's becoming more common in Australia as well, to hand your dog over to the trainer and get your dog fully trained, which then means you know that it knows the different commands, but you still have to be trained at some stage
Yeah.
on, like, even if it's just this is a list of the commands that will work with this dog. Um, so, but all the dogs that I've had as puppies and I've had to train, we go together to the training and as a group they do group training and we all learn how to make your dog sit and come and do that. So yes, you're right, the person does has to have to be trained as well.
Yeah, and that means the whole family. When I was training my
mm,
last dog, my
mm.
kids were teenagers, and I had a trainer come in, and all the kids were meant to be there, so that everybody knew the same command.
Exactly,
But
yes.
it was harder to train the teenagers than it was the dog.
Yes, yes, it can be because we've got hidden agendas and
Mm,
like we're also thinking of other things and when I finish this I can then go and meet my friends and go and have a cuppa or go out for to the nightclub or whatever it is that they're thinking. Whereas particularly dogs and horses, maybe not so much cats, but they're there in the moment
yeah,
with you. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we
yeah.
doing? Yep, okay, I do that to get that treat. Yep, oh, okay, I know what that means now. Yeah, so they're really good students.
Mm,
Um, and you can do it with cats too. It just takes a bit longer because they are more likely to go, oh, what's that over there? Okay. Oh, there's a bright shiny thing. Okay.
right.
But
No,
you can still do it.
I'm busy grooming. Forget about it.
Yeah, yeah.
We have
My
a show
social
here.
calendar does not work it.
Exactly. We had a show on here called America's Got Talent, and somebody came on with cats and took these cats. through an entire performance. Like she had them so well
Wow.
trained. And people are always gobsmacked at dogs. I mean, one actually won the award because the whole show, which was a bit mind-blowing because there was a lot more complex type shows, but he was the most entertaining because he kind of had the dog uh, taking ownership over the owner, so it was
Yep.
a reverse role, which made it fun. But this cat one, everybody was gobsmacked. How did you
Yeah.
get all of these cats to do these tricks? What magical wand do you have? Because trying to get one cat to do something, but a bunch of them? I mean, how?
I don't know if you have the same saying that we have over here in Australia, but we have a saying of when things are difficult or just going off in all directions, it's just like herding cats.
In
So,
fact, actually, I've been using that over my authors for my analogy books. It's like herding cats, trying to get everybody coordinated. Yes.
exactly, yeah. So that guy's obviously a cat wrangler, so he's good.
Well, it was a woman. It
Oh,
was a
sorry, it's a
young
she.
girl, actually, a young girl.
Well
So
done.
it just
Go
unbelievable.
girl.
I know. Everybody was just like, wow, they're so utterly
Yeah.
impressed. There was another show I did some time ago, and it was about a couple. Like he was a gynecologist who was delivering babies, and she was a concert pianist in New York. And they bought this farm in Colorado, Carolina, as a refuge for animals, for horses and
Right.
other animals. And that was their desire. And neither one of them really knew too much about it, but the
Mhm.
heart was in the right place. And one night he was off delivering babies, and she was there alone. And she heard one of the horses, neigh, 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 and kind of what's going on? And she went out there, and the horse was in the gated area, but all the other horses had escaped. And so she
Ah,
had to
dobbing.
call everybody up to wrangle it. And
Yep.
then the next day she was having a pre-show call with me, and she said the horse did this, and I said, "Did you thank it?" "What do you mean?" I said, "Go over to the horse with an apple today and thank it because it was telling you and it wasn't
Yeah.
escaping." And she did that. And she said the horse was just like all over, not even the apple, just all over her. And, I said to her, go and have some conversations with the horse. The horse
Mm,
will communicate with you. You will know what it's saying, even though
mm.
it's not
Yep.
your English language. And then
Yep.
she came back to me and said, my God, I just had no idea. I had no idea. And then
Oh,
she
yay.
started like a refuge of people coming, just sitting, as you said, not even
Yep.
touching the horses, just sitting in the pen with the horses,
Hmm.
just to feel connected again. Some people that had shut
Yep.
down so completely, and
Yep.
it just blew her away completely of the impact that they had. And
Yeah.
this horse would then be the telltale horse to telling her everything that's going on. But pay attention,
Yeah.
right? Pay
Yeah.
attention. They've got
Yeah.
so much wisdom to share.
I've got three horses, and the mare, she used to be the horse that would get out all the time. And if one of the other horses got out, um, I didn't mind so much, and I wouldn't be that quick to go and get them because it would do them good to have an extra feed of
Run.
grass or
All right.
whatever. Yeah. Or a run. Yep. And they weren't going to be doing anything super silly. So, yeah, it might take me an hour to go and get them and bring them and put them back and fix the fence and all that sort of thing. If my mare gets out, I'm there. I'm gone.
Mm.
I've got her because she's of the type of horse that can get really sick if she eats too much and stuff.
Oh,
They call it founder and or laminitis is the modern word for it. And so she was telling me then once I worked out what was
mm.
happening and stuff, and like each time it was something that somebody in my life was crossing my boundaries that the
Ah,
boundaries and she was trying to tell me
yeah.
that this is what was have a look
This
at
is,
it,
yeah.
it's not
This is
on.
my reaction. Exactly. Yeah.
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 And now
Yeah.
that I've been doing that, and it was 4 times she did it,
Hmm.
and one time was because I was doing a course and I got into a slightly different course to what I want. And I worked out it was, oh, I was wanting that course because the grass was greener on the other side. Yeah. Sometimes they can be really punny. It's just
Yeah.
really fun.
Hmm.
So, so yeah, no, there's even though it was really annoying and a pain to have to go and catch her and put her back and fix the fence, um, it was a message that I needed. I needed, and
So,
so
how do
yeah,
we pay attention? We chastise an animal for behaving badly, but, you know, um, I had another gentleman, Josh Goodall. He he was one of my hosts on my network for a while. Um, and the picture I actually used for his banner was a dog looking completely, utterly stressed out, tongue sticking out, eyes crossed, everything else, you know. And he was a more of a spiritual kind of healer with dogs, so he could really hear what they had to say. And he said most of the time the problem is us.
Mm,
We either impose too much anxiety on them and they're trying to help us, but it's a little too much for them, or
yeah.
are stressed out, and then the animal stresses out, especially a dog, and you go, well,
Mhm.
why are you stressed out? Well, you are, so I'm going to be. Oh, the stupid hand thing he constantly goes.
I know, I do it too. I have to sit on my hands.
I know, no, speak with my hands on the stupid hand thing on Zoom goes all over the place. So
Yes.
and
Oh
and the
dear.
time you do want it, you can't get it, right? It
Yes,
won't go up.
it takes you forever. It won't work.
But we've got to bear in mind that whatever's going on in our lives, they're feeling and sometimes at an exponential rate than we are. And if they're reacting, is they're reacting out to because we're reacting out and they don't know what to do with it, or they're trying to comfort us, and maybe they can't because the reaction is
Mhm.
too strong.
Yes, I agree with all of that. Yes. And they also try, because they're here to help us and help us in our lives, doing whatever it is they can do, possibly do to help us. They'll also take on some of our diseases. So sometimes they get
Yes.
sick before we do to try and help us, to give us that space so that we can get better, because they're confident of their ability to get better. And they also know that we're more likely to take them to the vet than take ourselves to the doctor.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so they will often sacrifice their own health to help us and give us that space that we need in order to get stuff done and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I want to hit on the food for a moment because there's
Mhm.
so much bad food out there for animals, especially
Oh,
dogs and
yes.
cats. I mean, it's got so many fillers and so many cancer-causing things. And a vet is expensive. And
Mhm.
a lot of people just simply can't afford it. We know that animals for people with post-traumatic stress or any disorder or seniors is a lifeline. It will
Mhm.
give them a better quality of life, but they're the ones that can't afford the vet bill. And so,
Mhm.
and to for them to feed the really good food is very expensive, but they want to. And we need to pay attention to how our pets or animals like their food. Because
Yes.
very often, if they're not eating it properly, then we kind of know that they don't like it. They're not being fussy. They're telling you it's not good for them.
Yes. Yes. A lot of that time. So, I mean, like us as well, they can have their likes and dislikes, and that can be a little inconvenient sometimes. But yes, mostly they are telling. I've got three brands of the little tins of tuna that I buy. And one of them I really, really like, but it's quite expensive.
Mhm.
So when I have it on my rice, I um, drain the oil that it's sitting in
Yeah.
into one of the dog bowls.
Mm,
Now my dog will only eat the oil, and the cat will they'll eat it together. They'll only do that with the most expensive brand.
of course. They've got good
And
taste.
but it's also telling me that there's other additives in the other
Yeah.
two brands
Yeah.
that's not good for them, so
Or
therefore it's not
you.
good for me. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
So my husband has finally said to me only yesterday, just buy the good one, just buy that one.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
worry about the other stuff.
Yeah. And I used to do that. I used to take the oil and, put it in their food because it's really good for them. Or now they can put a raw egg in and something good for their coat. And
Yep,
actually,
yep.
I used to cook for mine and I have pumpkin in there and all various types of meat and some rice and things like that. The kids would
Hmm.
come in, oh, dinner's smelling good. And they go, it's for the dog? You cook better for her than you do for us.
I do the rice and vegetables stuff
Uh,
as well. I just do rice and vegetables, and then I add other meat and stuff
yeah,
and try and give as many raw bones as possible. But some dogs, they just can't eat bones.
yeah,
You've got to I was going to say fiddle, but you're just going to have to work out for your particular dog what it is that they can do. Um, and again, it might be a message. It might be a message that you have a dietary issue that is not that's not being looked at yet. It hasn't been diagnosed or hasn't been investigated yet. So that might, not that I'm suggesting that everyone start eating raw bones, although we used to do that apparently a couple of thousand years ago.
Hopefully we've evolved since then.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I'm not going to be eating it raw bones anytime soon. But yeah, maybe it's often something that we should get look at our own
Yeah.
lifestyle and see how it's being affected like that.
You've got
Yeah.
dogs that can sniff out cancer. You've heard numerous
Yes.
times of saying, my dog kept touching my breast or kept touching my stomach over and over again, and
Yep.
eventually went to see a doctor, and it was cancer or it was some other disease. And it's again, they can't speak our language. But why don't we, rather like anybody, children who are autistic or children that have
Mm-hmm.
other differently abledness, look to how we can communicate with them on their level and not always demand that they have to come into our verbiage.
Yeah. Yeah. Because ours might not be the best.
Right.
We just might be the most common
Yeah.
rather than the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously it's easier for us if they come to our level, but
Hmm.
that's just being selfish, really. We should be trying to work out how to communicate with each other on whatever level works.
Now, you do have some animals, especially if you get a rescue dog,
Hmm.
mostly dog rather than cat, but cats will scratch you and all of that. But if you have had a dog that's been abused, and you rescue it, it's going to have some triggers. It's going to have to build up the trust. What can we do with that? Because very often those are the kind of dogs we do want to rescue and give them a second chance in life. But we
Hmm.
also have to be careful.
Certainly do. Um, Firstly, although it's really sad that they've been abused, it's because they've been abused that we want to have them, that we
Mm.
want to help them. And that's the link and that's our connection with them. So I'm not saying keep up the abuse or anything. I'm just
No.
saying that's that's how we start our connection with them. Um, and yeah, it's basically working with each animal on its own level because
Mm.
they've connected with you, so they know that you can help them and that they can help you. We just think we're helping them,
Right.
but there is that reciprocal arrangement because otherwise they wouldn't have been interested in us in the first place.
If you do have an animal that is inclined to be violent, attack or snap. I had a border collie. She was straight from the farm. So it was first generation domestic. It was
Yep.
my fourth one, so I knew them. But I had to be careful around children, especially with high pitches, because you'd want to herd them into a corner.
I like that dog.
So,
Okay, I'm. I really like that dog.
well, it didn't go down too well with my in-laws, to see their
I
kid in
can
the
understand
corner.
that.
Mom! And then the kids were screaming and shouting and this and that, and nip, nip, nip into that. So, and it was never attack. This is just doing her job, right? Nipping it into a corner. So,
Yeah. Oh, I wish I'd seen that.
she was quite a character.
She'd have been great.
But also when the kids were play fighting or fighting and kind of, play fighting and kind of screaming, no, 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 or actual fighting. If they were play fighting, she would put a toy or a stick in her mouth and jump all around them, roar, 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 but no, they were
Yep.
play fighting. So the
Yep.
stick was to stop her from knitting. If she
Yep.
thought anybody was hurting anyone, nip.
What a good girl.
She was the nanny.
But again, through a different lens,
Yeah.
you could understand how some people might think that that was a really badly behaved dog
Yes.
because it's, obviously something that's got to be taken off and taken away and put down because it's a danger to everybody.
Right.
Whereas she was so protective and she was so good,
Hmm.
that was exactly what you needed at the time.
Exactly. Exactly. My extended arm of
Yeah,
discipline. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But you know, you
And
do have,
possibly they're more likely to listen to her than to you anyway.
oh God, yes. Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So,
But if you do have a dog that is violent, you know, it does that, is that violence? I mean, you know, you've got this whole pit bull thing. And, you know, I remember seeing some kids with a puppy trying to make it violent. And I just went up there
mm,
and played mummer on them, almost boxing their ears, you know?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because an animal again will mimic, and if you're going to make it be violent, it will be. But if you show it
yes,
love, it will give you love. And
yes.
we've got these people. There was a whole movie of a dog that had a partial bit of pit bull in it, and they banned it from the city, and a whole. Actually, it's a lovely story, but because of how it came back, etc. But we're the ones that are the problem, and
Yes,
you know we
yes.
assume that certain dogs, because they're police dogs or they're you know guard dogs or anything, that they must be violent. But they were created that way. It's not
Hmm.
in their nurture. That it can be in their nature if it's brought out.
Yes, yes. But that's like people as well, isn't it?
Mm,
It's like
yes.
people. Yeah.
Is that why
But
we
that's,
call people some bulldogs?
yeah. And sometimes that's a good thing.
Sometimes, yes.
There are times where those traits can come in quite handy.
Yeah.
But you could also see that, like, and I'm not suggesting everyone turn into one of these, but if you were someone who wasn't doing things completely legal in your household, then if you had a dog that whenever anyone knocked on the door, it went to the front door and just sat there and growled or barked, you would think that was a good thing.
Yeah.
But in a general family situation, not so good thing because
Right.
it might be a young child on the other side of the door just
Yes.
coming to play or something. So again, it's different situations and what you wanting that animal to do and to be and stuff.
Mm,
And that's the level that I work on and stuff,
right.
trying to working out with them what their expectations are and what the person's expectations are, and
Right.
trying to get, and I do that translating between the animal and the person.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
my dog used to be at the door barking, and then I would
yeah,
go just hold her collar so she wouldn't jump, and then and just open the door, see it is. Thank you, darling. Thank you. I see who it is. Thank you.
yeah,
All right, and
yep,
then it would be look at me and look at them, and you're okay, Mom? Yes, okay. Now I can go off
yeah, exactly,
because she's
exactly.
doing her job. She was protecting the household and make um, and if she probably knew the person in the car, you could be in the car with me. The moment
Yeah.
you're on the outside the car, you're the enemy. She'll
Ah,
be at
yeah.
that window like this.
Well, some dogs take their jobs that they think
Yeah,
that they are supposed to be doing, they take it very seriously.
yeah, yeah.
And there are others that don't take it quite so seriously. Yeah.
Would you say that there are certain animals that shouldn't be around certain people because they're just too volatile with each other or just, not compatible? Like if you've got somebody that is highly stressed all the time, is there a certain animal that would not be good for them because it'd be too hard on the animal?
I think that there are people and animals that shouldn't be together, but more because of a miscommunication,
Mm,
not because that if the person decided that they wanted to communicate with the animal, then that's fine. That and but if the person was closed off
mm.
and no, that's just a badly behaved animal, well then yeah, they shouldn't be with that animal. It
And of
doesn't
course,
matter whether it's a horse or a cat or a dog.
right. And you generally find those people so highly strung, they're more likely to be on the violent side rather than on the I'm listening side.
Oh, well, yes, much, yeah. But
Yeah,
there's also those people that are just closed off from life and are shutting
yeah,
themselves off from everything, and they
yeah,
just don't want anybody or anything to
yeah,
come in through those barriers because they themselves, for whatever reason, have decided that they're withdrawing from society.
yeah. And an
Mm.
animal will know, like
Mm.
if an animal's, my dog used to tell me, I don't like that person. Hackles would go up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking,
Yep.
thinking, well, the person seems perfectly fine. And she's looking at me going, you know? And it's like, okay, I respect you're seeing something I'm not seeing. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
listening, right? So don't get too involved. Um, but we're inclined to go, don't do that, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, it's like, okay, how about thank you, I got it. Thank
Yep.
you, I got it. Right?
Yep. Exactly. That's a much better attitude to have. Yeah. And they will pick up on that because they know that your intention has
Yes.
changed.
Yeah, you've paid attention.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's the important thing. I remember
Yep.
used to throw her whatever, a ball or a stick, and I was doing it at a park. And every time she did bring it back to me, because she'd have to do the circles and make me go and get it.
Yeah.
Right? But if she did bring it back to me, I would say, thank you. And this woman said,
Yep.
you say thank you to your dog? I said, yes, if she's brought the ball back to me, I'm saying thank you. Right. And she's followed the command. So thank you. I've never seen that before. I must try it. And I thought, well, yeah. What's wrong with thank you to an animal?
Yeah, exactly. I often say thank you to my animals or good job or
Yeah,
good dog, good girl, good boy,
yes,
whatever.
exactly. They want to
Yeah.
know that they're in the good list, on the good side as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
work with people that are having issues with their animals, whether it's
Hmm.
cat, horse, dog, um, and just help them find that communicational skill.
Yes. Yes. So well, I actually do the translating for them. So
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah. And often people will say, after we've had a couple of sessions or something, they then are more comfortable because they know I won't think that they're loopy, but they'll
Right.
say, I've had this feeling about this situation. And so we'll do some checking and some testing and yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly what's happening.
So they're learning to
So,
pick up the message. But
mm,
they need
yeah,
to see how you do it first. So obviously, you're the animal whisperer, so you're able to translate what the animal is saying. And a lot of people will think that's loopy. Well, it's not speaking English to me, so how do you understand it? Well,
yeah,
we're talking to
yeah,
each other all the time in silence with our body language, with our,
exactly.
our energy signature, with the
That's it. Yep,
frequency that we're setting off, the vibe that we're setting off. You're picking
yep,
up on that frequency. So you know what the intention is of the animal because you're
yeah.
tuning in.
Yeah, the particular modality that I use is the pillar code, and that's just how I get it into a form that I can understand it and stuff. So, and then
So,
I can just
what is the
translate it
pillar
into
code?
English. The pillar code is a modality that is, and you can use it for animals or people. You can use it for anything that's living, so trees or the
Mhm.
land or anything. And it just then is a way of working out what the issues are and how to solve whatever issues been is
So,
going on.
so tuning into the frequency of whatever is living, animal
Yeah,
or
yeah,
nature,
and then
and
clearing the block or the problem or
right.
the issue so that it then can heal and go on and be better at what they're doing.
Well, I mean, blocked chi, blocked energy, very often is the
Yep,
problem. It's the
yep,
emotional problem, the physical problem. And if we understand where that blocked chi is and we're able to release it, then,
hmm,
we're fluid creatures. We need to constantly be
exactly.
in flow. And if that
Yes,
flow is
yes.
interrupted, that's when we're going to have either emotional or physical problems.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And if you start on the energy, then that will be magnified by the mind, and then that will go on to the body and be manifest in the body. And usually it's as something that we don't want, like some sort
Right.
of disease or disorder or
Mhm.
dysfunction of some sort.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it
And
a
that's
kind
what
of a
that's when
form
they
of Reiki?
um Reiki is a very similar way. If you understand Reiki and have heard of Reiki, then that's a very good picture to have in your head.
Hmm.
I'm a Reiki master as well.
Hmm.
I feel it's stronger than
Right.
Reiki, but I'm not trying to denigrate Reiki at all. Reiki
Right.
is an amazing modality and I love it. And I
Mhm.
still use it in different situations.
This is
And
more honing in.
yeah, I think so.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I can, yeah, honing in is a really good way. I can pinpoint
Yeah.
this better than I could at Reiki, but that just might mean I wasn't as good at Reiki as other Reiki masters are. Um, but no, I find this for me,
Hmm.
Reiki is like having a garden hose going flat out with water coming through it. And the pillar code, is like a big yard hose going full bore with her. So to me, it just feels stronger.
Right.
But it's similar energy.
The thing is that each one of us has an instrument, a gift that we're given that we have to learn how to play, right? And then it's how do we
Yes.
use that gift?
Yep.
Sometimes
Yep.
we need to join an orchestra, sometimes it's okay to be the soloist. But that's the gift that we have, and not everybody comprehends it if it's not black and white or tangible, that it actually does require a faith and a trust or an understanding of energy. Even though we all use it and do it every day, not everybody is cognitive of it. If they
Yes.
were, I
Yes.
think they probably might be kinder in their energy
Mhm.
than they are.
Mhm.
So your gift is that you're able to really hone in on the message because that's your channel. You're
Yes.
communicating, you're able to turn those knobs and tune in to the channel and hear what is being said or feel what's being
Exactly.
said because really it's a feeling that translates into a knowledge.
Sometimes I see it as pictures,
Mm.
but yes, usually it's a feeling. Yes. And I was told a couple of months ago that, and I can understand this completely, and it's really lovely, that households with young children and pets in it are really lucky because the pets are the ones that put the very lovely pictures in the children's mind to
Mm.
help them go to sleep.
Mm.
So I just thought that was beautiful. Whether it's a
Yes.
cat or a dog or
Yeah.
doesn't matter, they're the ones that put the nice pictures in the child's mind so they can go to sleep.
I interviewed somebody who helps people who are grieving the loss of a pet.
Uh-huh.
Some people, it's just a pet, get another. No,
I
it
know
is
some
like a
people are like that.
child. I know.
Yes.
Don't get it. I mean, it's been 7 years and a wonderful artist, what's her name? Kathy Knapp, did a beautiful painting for me of my dog that I lost 7 years ago. And she's right there
Uh-huh.
looking at me all the time. And it's that special look that she used to give me. And it's like
Yeah.
a part of me went with her, as it does
Yes.
in grief. You lose a part of you. Um,
Yes.
and we just did a tribute to my son's dog that he had for 10 years, who was a deaf Frenchie. And that was
Oh,
his
nice.
baby. This baby could
Yeah.
do no wrong. She was a bit of a nightmare because she didn't realize when she got excited, she sounded like a seal being slaughtered. And like everybody would just look at her and like run in the opposite direction because she's charging at them and they didn't realize she just wanted to play. So
Oh, the poor
his
thing.
eyes, she could do no wrong whatsoever. And even though, she was sometimes behaving badly. Um, but the loss of it, he was with me when my Kokomo was put down. We had somebody come and release her from this world, and we were right there. I had all day with her in my arms, and I was holding her face as she went. And with the
Yeah.
cat, it kind of came on too quickly, but again, I was holding her, and
Hmm.
he actually got to say goodbye to his dog, and my daughter had like a 4 hour period where they found out the cat had all these cancer things inside it and they couldn't rescue it. And so she had to
Yep.
say goodbye. It
Yep.
really does tear you apart. You really
Mm.
are losing a good part of you. So, we need, just as we would any human, we need to grieve when we do lose
Yes.
them because they're beautiful
Yeah.
lights of energy here for a short period of time. They will
Yes.
leave us.
They will. Yes. But even though they have to leave us, and that's really, really sad, it's still so worthwhile having them in
Okay.
our lives.
Oh, yes. The beacon of light that they are, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, absolutely. And I've been without a dog now for 6 years, and I just can't wait when I move to get one because I need one. I need one in my
Yeah.
life completely. Um, I think what we need to actually understand, and this is something that I don't know what's wrong with humanity because we're going backwards, with all the hate rhetoric and,
Yeah.
all the nastiness that's out there in the world. If we could just honestly live in the same love and kindness that an animal gives us, if we
Mm.
could live in that same vibration,
Mm.
what a world we would live in.
Mm. It would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Mm.
It would be so amazing.
It'd be so beautiful.
It
I
would.
know horses. I'm not a horse person, although I am the year of the horse. But I was,
Well done.
uh,
That's close enough.
I'm an asthmatic. Unfortunately, I was allergic to them, so I couldn't really ride them. But I just absolutely love them. They are such beautiful creatures, and they again have such character. and
And
such
it's the closest thing to
personality.
flying that you can have without being
Yes,
a
riding
bird.
a horse. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes. Yes, I can imagine, especially when you see one running along the beachfront. Ah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Um, they have such an incredible intelligence. And yet,
Yep.
how many horses have you got? You've got work horse, plow horse, pack horse, race horse, breeding horse. I mean, they've got so many different roles in life. Um,
Yes.
and again, are we valuing what they have to give? Because,
No.
back in the day, it was horse and cart, and we valued them because they got us around. Now, to have a horse is more to do with pleasure,
Hmm.
right, than
Yep.
it is to do with practicality. So, have you seen a difference towards horses? I know you're a horsewoman, so
I feel like I've been around forever, but I wasn't really in the horse and carts era, which is a bit of a shame because I would have loved it.
oh yeah,
Um, but I don't think we value race horses except
no,
for the amount of money that
yes,
they can win the person.
right,
Um, so and I still think I think they're with a lot of other animals in that because they're not human for
yeah,
some reason
they're
humans
less
think they're
than,
inferior.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So but those that know and love them, sometimes they're misguided and wouldn't treat the horse how I would treat it, but
right.
they're still treating it the best way they know how. So that's part of their journey and their learning as well. Um, and then there's some just out and out utter bastards that
Absolutely.
don't want
Yes.
to learn anything, and but
They
that's
should
not
be in
just
front of a
horses.
back of a horse.
That's it. Yes,
What
but
beggars
it's
the
not
hand
just.
again?
I'm still sitting on mine. But they would do that to whether it was a horse or a dog or a cat or
Yeah,
a person,
exactly. Yeah,
child.
yes,
Anything that they think they're stronger than, they would do that
right.
too.
I mean, what we're seeing now, which is absolutely beautiful, I have a show on that as well, is therapy horses. And you talked
Yes.
about it, where the horse, whether you're riding the horse or just in the arena with the horse, that expansion of the heart vibration. But you
Yes.
take somebody that maybe have a language barrier, and I don't mean foreign, but you just can't articulate, an autistic child or whatever. And somehow when they get on the horse,
Hmm.
whether it's the language or not, but the joy of being on that horse is just so exuberant. And there's such
Yes.
a trust factor. And there's something about the horse that's just like said, I've got you. I've
Yes.
got you. You're safe with me.
Yes. I haven't seen, I've heard of, but I haven't actually seen autistic children on horses. But I used to in another life help Down syndrome children
Hmm.
with riding horses. And it's just as you described, it's just amazing. And it's like the horse gives them wings and they feel like they can do absolutely anything. And
Most certainly, I have a grandson with Down syndrome. He's just 7 months old right now, but later on in life, definitely get him on the horse and,
yeah,
give him all that energy support, because
yes,
they are a bundle of energy. But I feel what the animals do is kind of hone that energy in
hmm,
to a way that they can bring about in life. And and just on a side note of Down syndrome, I don't know if you've seen it out of New Zealand, called Down with Love. And it's
oh no,
children with Down
hmm,
syndrome falling in love. It is so
yeah,
beautiful and so heartwarming. It is really
ah,
gorgeous. But I think the reason why they get on so well with animals is because on many levels, they operate on the same level. They operate
yes,
on energy, right? Just
and they
on good
don't have,
vibrations. Yeah.
yeah, and they don't have an agenda.
Or an ego.
Yes, yes, and our ego trips us up
Oh,
so often.
absolutely.
Even when you're aware of it and try not to do it, it
Hmm.
still trips you up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing about an animal, it can put you in check, can give you a nice little reminder. All
Hmm.
right,
Hmm.
and I think it's, we can say they bring us down to earth, but I'm a cosmic child, so I also think they elevate us up up into
Yes,
the
yes,
heavens
they
as
do
well.
both.
So they do both, they do both, and yet, just that. that whether it's the horses, and let's not just stop there at the domestic animals. Let's look, I've got another show here of a farm sanctuary of rescuing farm
Mhm.
animals. And we're seeing more and more people, hugging cows and talking to cows and how they
Cows
love
give the best
music.
hugs.
Oh yeah.
They give
Yes.
the best hugs. They are
Hmm.
so good at hugging.
Right. And then you've got the elephants and things like this. But the guy who took the
That'd
piano
be a
into
good
the
hug.
field and just played for the cows, and the cows are there, and another one playing for the elephants, and the elephants are swinging back and forth. They are rhythm, right? They're boogieing there. So,
I'd like a cuddle from an elephant. I reckon they'd give a really good hug.
yeah, my daughter went to a sanctuary, and she said, yes, it was just absolutely out of
Yeah.
this world. Yeah, and again, I think we need to switch it around. We think we're doing animals of behavior by taking them in, taking them for walks, feeding them, and this and that. They don't realize that, and there's that wonderful Facebook thing about rescue. Yes,
Hmm.
how's your rescue human going? Yeah.
Yes.
And they are here to do that. And I remember one
Yes.
time a lot was going on in my life, and my dog was getting older, and someone like yourself read that and said she can't take your stress on anymore. She's too old, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
that sometimes we've got to honor that too, is that we
Yes.
know that they're there to comfort us, but sometimes this does not oversaturate them.
Yes. Yes. So, and again, even if the only thing I did was able to be empty them out completely so that they could take more of our stuff on,
Yeah.
then that would be such a fulfilling job. But to be able to actually tell the human
Mm.
what they're feeling and what the reason for this particular thing, it's just so good.
Yes.
So
And
good.
how do you empty them out? How do you actually take that energy and kind of I'm downloading this so it's deleted. How do you do that?
That's the main way of the modality of the pillar code. That's that bit of magic that you
Mm.
learn when you become a practitioner, and you just clear the block, and it just dissolves, and then the
Gosh,
healing can start again. It's
why don't
just
we do it
amazing.
to ourselves?
I do.
So you're not just the animal whisperer, you're the human whisperer as well.
No,
Um,
that's right.
my God, do we need that in the world? I mean, I'm sure when you're downloading and deleting on the animal, if it's in the same presence as the owner, it's happening to them as well. They just don't know
because
it.
because it's a partnership and
Yes.
some people's egos won't let them
Yeah.
take on that, then I work on the animal and the partnership, and therefore it has an effect on the person as well. Yeah, and
Right.
the sometimes it's the animal is thankfully just a mirror of what's
Mm,
happening in the person. So it's really only the person that is having the
yeah.
issue, even though they don't acknowledge it. And because I clear it in the mirror, it clears in the
Right.
person.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't put a lot of emphasis on clearing, do we? We load up and
No.
load up and load up. But how do we download?
Yes.
I know
Yes.
people ground it into the planet, and the planet is saying, "Hey, will you please keep that to yourself? I'm saturated." So we need to find ways of just letting it go, letting it evaporate.
Yeah. Yeah. Although going back into the earth does um, cleanse it, and then that energy can come back and be reused. So, and then we can do a clearing for the earth as well, so that it just evaporates and goes away.
I think we need to do a big clearing for the earth right now. She's under an
Yeah.
awful lot of bombardment with wars and bombs and mines and hate and everything else. I think at the present moment, she's actually saying, look, I'm going to play up if I'm going to behave badly if you don't.
Oh, planet's behaving badly. Yes.
Yeah. We need to
Yeah.
clone you, have you as a circle around the world. Because
Well,
we
I'm
we
sure
think we're not
PJ.
connected. We think we're not connected. Every single thing, every single person, every single living thing has a
Yep,
signature. We are all connected. We're all part of that fiber optics, right? Of connection.
exactly. And I have a sneaking suspicion that the non-living things are connected as
Oh
well.
yeah,
But but
yes.
um but yes, we
'Cause
have a hard enough time wrapping our head around
I know.
all the living things are connected. So,
Well, this
Yeah.
is why we have certain favorite glasses, or our car has
Yes.
an affinity, or favorite this and that, is because
Yes.
it's the signature of the item, it's how it makes us feel, and we've given it that signature. And so if we lose it, we feel it's a loss. Well, just go and get another one, but you don't understand.
And even when our cars muck up and
Yeah.
behave badly, that often is just a mirror of ourselves.
Mm. Right.
So
So
you
no
can call me for
driving
that too, and I
rage.
can clear that.
Yeah.
No, don't do that. No,
No,
no, no, no, no,
no,
no,
it's
no,
not
no.
good for the car. Think
And
of
there
the
are some
car.
people, yeah, there are some people that that will resonate with.
Yes. Yes. It's very
Yeah.
easy to get into a rage and to get, upset and to get anxious because, let's face it, basically since COVID, it's really ignited a lot of shake up. The universe gave me a saying, shake up to wake us up, for us to step up, to change it up, and to grow up vibrationally, and also
Yep.
to grow up and quit whining. And
Yep.
we're still very much, in the shake up. And some people need to be more shaken than others. And a lot of people have already kind of decided, okay, enough shaking. I'm stepping up. I'm changing up. And we're seeing
Mm-hmm.
that. That's the people
Mm-hmm.
that embrace the work that you're doing and say, I may not understand it, but I recognize what it's doing. And
Yes.
that, how do I even find that practice within myself to do it for myself? And, it's awareness, isn't it? If we're not willing
Mm-hmm.
to talk about these things, then they're cloak and dagger. When we
Yes,
make it
exactly.
commonplace, that absolutely everything has a signature, everything is energy. And when we take care of the
Yes.
energy and it's in fluidity, we're in flow. And
Yep.
if we have disruption, then we're in the no.
Mm. And it's not that everybody has to become an energy healer
No.
or practitioner, because I still go to a dentist and I don't have
Mm,
to study dentistry. I still have a mechanic. I'm not going to study mechanics. So
exactly.
you're
Everybody has a
allowed to.
role. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you don't have to be all things to all people,
No.
but you need to be aware of the things and the trades that or services that you need.
Yes. But I think everybody needs to be aware of their energy, their own
Oh yeah,
energy.
that would be nice. Yeah.
And if they were more cognitive of their own energy and how I'm portraying myself, if somebody gets angst or is rude back to you, what is it that you've portrayed? Oh,
Mm,
there's something going on here, right? Because
yeah.
energy begets the same energy. So if I'm
Yeah.
getting negative energy around me, that means I must be putting it out or I'm open to receiving it and then I'm going to give it back. No, you've got to
You
turn up
could
the,
just be being felt as a safe place for them to release it.
oh God, yes, yes, I know I'm a garbage dump.
That doesn't mean you have to accept it. It can
No,
still
no,
just
no.
flow off you.
I know, I know, I know. Yes, I know. But that stupid empathic stuff where you feel everything. Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's hard to do. It's work in
Just
progress. Let's just put it that way.
work on your Teflon coating.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, but I think, if, while the world is pointing out there that it's everybody else's fault, I say there's three fingers pointing back and say,
Yep.
where's our accountability, our responsibility? What are we doing about it? And I think if we could
Yep.
all step into something, because I don't care what you are doing as a trade, we're all energy. And if we
Mm,
can be aware of our energy and how we are putting it out or how we're receiving it, in that just simple awareness, we're already changing the frequency.
yes.
Because, kindness is a huge thing. Caring
Yes.
about something
And
is a huge thing. Leading to that love of life, love of all things living,
mhm,
which is a measurable high frequency. You can't
yes.
knowingly do any harm to anyone if you're in that state
Yes.
of love, because to do so is
Exactly.
to harm yourself.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And it's such a lovely high frequency compared to shame or guilt or anger or any of
Hate and
the
all of
heavier
that.
ones.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Way too
Yeah.
much to carry, folks. Just put it down, right?
That's
Like
why a lot
take,
of people are tired.
yes, exactly. Now you do this through Zoom calls. You don't have people
Yep.
don't have to come to Australia to see you to do this. And
If you would like to, I would be happy to have a cuppa with you and a piece of cake, but we don't need to do that. We can do
right,
it over Zoom. Yeah.
exactly. And again, what people don't understand, this energy can go anywhere. Once it's
Hmm.
targeted, it doesn't have to be
Hmm.
within a few feet,
No,
right?
that's right.
You get a person's
I
signature and that's it.
Yes, I like to, well, I ask people for a photo of their animal just because I'm a sticky beak and I just like to have a look at them. I don't need it for anything. um, but yeah, it's nice to have a like it's nice to know what you look like, and I'm talking to you.
Right,
But we
exactly.
could have done it over the phone without seeing each other. So
Right. And so
yeah,
if they have the animal in the room with you, then
my
with
animals
them,
are always not the
no, with them,
horses.
I
My
mean,
my dogs and cat are
yeah,
always
I
in here,
saw I
and
saw walking by there. Yeah.
yeah, that was Rosie. She was trying to decide whether she's still going to lie next to the window or not. But
But if
Ralphie's at my feet.
when I used to do my shows, my animals were at my feet all the time or on my
Yep,
lap, one or the other. And
yep,
they just like the vibe, right? That felt
yeah,
good, Mum. That felt good. You know?
exactly.
So, but if somebody is talking to you about a particular animal, if they actually had it with them during a Zoom call, is that better or it doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter because they'll be included.
Right. So
Yep,
basically, you're picking up the energy of the animal through the human.
yep, yep. And that's just easier because the human speaks English.
Right. Right. Right.
Sorry. There are humans who don't speak English, but I haven't actually worked with any of them yet.
Yes. I
So
need a
yeah,
translator for that, right?
yeah, yeah.
There is that phone translation. That's coming.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I'm sure there's some AI
Oh,
thing
yes.
that they could speak in, and it would just come out as
Yes.
English words for me. So I'm
Right.
sure there's a way we could do it. I just haven't done it yet.
Right.
Haven't had the opportunity to do that yet.
So again, people, "Oh, how do you do it? How do you do it?" It's really, you don't need to know how, just need to know it works. And just like, people believe in God, but do you have tea with him?
Yeah,
It's you're going on faith. This is a lot to do with faith, and that I am trusting that what you do is going to be good for us. And so therefore I'm open and ready to receive, but they have to come with free will.
have to come as with be their own choice
Mm,
and free will. Um, and I agree that they need faith for that first step.
mhm.
But after the first session, they feel stuff,
Yes,
and they can't explain it. Often can't explain it, but particularly with an animal, they see changes in their animal that
mhm.
they cannot explain through what they would say was logic. Because
Right,
I would say it was logical because I've just done the treatment,
right,
but so the only explanation is whatever it was that Joe did.
right. And do they acknowledge there's also a change in them, or they just say, "Oh no, it's just the dog"?
Sometimes, sometimes some kind of go, yeah, and they're not barking at night, and I'm sleeping really well at night.
Uh-huh.
Really? That's great.
What's the most unusual animal that you've worked with? I would say
Um,
human, but I'll go to animal.
yeah, at this stage, people are still finding it a little bit new, and so it's been mainly those that they are living with, so the
Mhm,
dogs and the cats and horses, because when you have a horse, you have a fairly close relationship with them
mhm.
because you have to get on their back and be intimately connected with them on that way.
Yes.
Um, I have done a little bit of work with a farmer and a herd of dairy cows.
Mhm.
Um, and their animals are really good also because you can use them. You don't have to do the session with each individual cow.
Right.
Thank goodness there were 300 of them.
Oh, wow.
You can, yeah, it might have taken a while. You could use that as one herd. You could say that is one entity,
Wow.
one group. So yeah, um, and that was a health issue that they all seemed to be not not doing so well on this particular thing that they'd always done well on before. So,
Right.
and there was a message of that they had actually changed, even though the company just swore black and blue that they hadn't changed
Yeah.
anything about the feed. Something had changed, and so we found another feed that was supplement that was what they needed, and they
And
all
it worked
shone again.
fine. Right.
Mm.
How do you feel
Mm.
after a session?
Oh, amazing. I love it. I would do this 24/7.
I mean, I have done these shows whether when I've had COVID, when I've really been sick,
Yep.
and people say, "But shouldn't you be resting up?" Nope, this is a healing thing for me.
Yeah.
right? When
Yeah.
when you're exchanging beautiful energies and it's, sharing that wonderful wisdom, it just
Hmm.
lifts you right up and it just
It
become
does,
part
doesn't
of
it?
the medicine you seek. So, I might be
Yes.
croaking away like crazy, but you know, it's good for all
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I still need to sleep, so maybe I wouldn't do it 24/7, but I'd do it as often as I could.
Maybe you're doing it in your sleep, right? So the
Oh, wouldn't
energy is
that be
still
good?
working.
Oh, I'd
Mhm.
love to be doing that. I hope that's true.
I'm sure. I mean, I am so busy in my sleep. That's when I'm dimensional traveling and a lot of the creative force and a lot of the work I do is when I'm so-called sleeping. So
Yep.
I wouldn't be
Yep.
surprised if you're not out there that there's an animal that's fine tuned in and going,
Yep.
okay, I'm tapping into you, Joanne.
That's okay. I do not mind that at all. And like I just was recognizing that my physical body probably does need a rest
A
so that it
rest.
can do its stuff to heal
Yeah.
itself and things. But yeah, if I'm out doing other stuff, that's good.
Yeah.
I like
Yes.
multitasking.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So somebody, doesn't matter where they are in the world,
Mhm,
they've got an animal they think behaving badly, or maybe what
mhm,
it is there's one kid in the family behaving badly, and it's having an effect on the animal, whichever way it
mhm,
is.
mhm.
Then they can just reach out to you and book a Zoom call, and you can work
Yep.
with them. How long is the session normally?
Um, I usually book about half an hour to 45 minutes for the session. That's particularly for the first session. And um, the small package, this package for small pets that I have is a 3 session package, and so they're 40 to 45 minutes each. And if decided that you wanted to do the 12-week package, then there's most of them are half hours, but there's the very first one, the middle one, and the very last one is an hour, and we go through and just the first one we make a baseline of every issue that there is, and then in that middle one we check how we're going. So like if it was I was talking to you and taking you and your pet through, you would be telling me how the rating how all those issues were going. It
Right.
wouldn't be my call on how I thought they were going. It's how you think they're going. And then the very last one would be another hour, and we go through the whole list again. In that middle one, you can add more issues on that you'd forgot to put on the
Or
first one
they
if
or
you
that
want
have
to.
showed up differently, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Um, and because sometimes you need to clear a few issues before you see some other underlying
Yes.
issues. So,
Yeah.
and at the last one, we then go through the whole list again and see how we went, how it all went. Yeah.
And do you
But the
gen
ones in between are half an hour.
right. So do you see repeat people, or do you find that
Mm.
once they've got it, that they're able to maintain that energy flow?
Particularly those who choose to do the 12-week program. It's a bit like getting fit at a gym. You don't
Yeah.
get to that level and then stop.
Right.
I'm fit enough now. It's a more of a maintenance
Yes.
thing, and we touch in once a month, and just see if there's any issues that have come up and that we can just clear so that things are smooth again. And if something came up and the person just went, oh no, I know it's only been 2 weeks, but we've got to talk now, then we just bring that one forward and that's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is the thing, it's just because you've done something and maybe now you've picked up that you're tapping into your animal's energies and vice versa. That doesn't mean that you don't need the top up now and again, or you don't need to make
Mm,
sure that you are on track, that you haven't gone off, because sometimes
yeah.
we can slide off without realizing it. We get kind of caught up with what's going on and we don't
Yep.
realize it. And so sometimes having that realignment is really important.
And also animals get really excited that, oh, I can talk to them now. I can get
Yeah,
this message through.
right.
And I had a horse that was limping. Well, not my horse. I had a friend whose horse was limping, and I went and had talked to him and his horse. And this horse was limping because that was the only way he could get this guy's attention. And he wanted to let him know that he needed to check out, and this blew my mind, check out his mortgage, his bank and his mortgage, because he wasn't getting the best deal.
I know it's
And
this. You kind of just see the animals feeling like they're tuning into what's going on in the world, and they want to tell their masters.
well, my friend's reaction was a typical Aussie rude one of bullshit.
Yeah,
But anyway, went and talked to his bank manager and then went and talked to a couple of other banks and did online searching, all that sort of stuff, and got a better deal.
Right. And did the
So,
horse stop limping?
mm,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Do not undermine their intelligence,
Nope.
right? They don't need to be online or take a course or get a degree. They're in the knowingness, and that knowingness is
Exactly.
divinely channeled, and it's far wiser than any of your knowledge. So pay attention.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's the only animal I've had that have has dipped into mortgage brokering.
Who knows what else is to come? Quite
Exactly.
fascinating, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
It just pay attention to them, please. Talk to them, as a living form.
Yes.
Pay attention to what they're saying to you. It isn't just about the pat pat, good boy, good girl, and throw a stick. They love, just as we love having them for companionship, they
Hmm.
love having the companionship where you talk to them as well.
Yes. And if things are changing, just let them know and say,
Yeah.
this is what's going to happen. Even if it's like, if I'm going away for a week and, you know, I'm going away for a week, which is, going to be 6 sleeps. Don't worry, I'm coming back.
Hmm.
Ken's going to feed you. So if there's any problems, don't take them out on Ken. Wait till I come back because Ken won't know, because he's not a horse person, won't know how to fix it. Okay? Just be chill with him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's not had any problems himself,
Right.
so
Yeah.
with them.
No,
So
no. And you know what? I don't know about you, but I mean, I used to sing to my dog. She'd be sitting next to me in the car as we're driving, and I'd turn around and sing to her, and she'd just look at me with, do you, as a, the only
heaven
one
will
could
be
put
like
up with
this.
my singing.
Yes,
Mommy's
but she'd
singing
feel
to
the love
me.
behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't be afraid to be in tuned and goofy with your animals,
Yes.
because they've got so much to tell you. Get out of
And they're
your
not
own
judging.
your own ego or self-importance or anything else. No, they're just trying to communicate, and it's like,
Yeah.
get off your high horse and,
Yeah.
and have an
Yeah.
eyeball to eyeball with them, because they got a lot to share with you.
Yeah, that other buzz phrase. They just want your authentic self. And they can
Exactly.
see your authentic self no matter what you put in front of it anyway. So you may as well
Exactly.
just be authentic with them.
Exactly, because they know your BS and they'll call you
Yeah.
out on it, right? Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody wants to book a call with you, how do they get through? Do you have a site, or do they reach out to you in different
It's
ways?
probably easiest to email me because of the time difference and my Calendly link doesn't always work because of being out in the country. So the internet
Mm,
doesn't always work.
yeah.
But the email will get through, and I'm always checking that. So it's really easy to reach out that way.
And that's Joe Watson, JOWATSON 0606 at gmail.com.
Yeah, and that's the number 0, not the
Right.
letter O.
Yes,
Yep,
yes,
yep,
0606. And of course, you're on Facebook as Joanne Watson. Um,
yes,
that's the 77398 code, in case there's another Joanne Watson there. And you're on LinkedIn and Joanne Watson
I
as
am.
well.
Yes, yes,
So,
yeah.
reach out.
I do have a Google business page, but I don't do a lot of active. I'm not actively using it. But if you Google me, then my company name is Calm Animals, and that's with a KARMANIMALS.
And calm animals make calm humans, right? Calm
Yes,
humans make calm animals. We want everyone to be in beautiful, wonderful flow here, because all sorts of beautiful stuff
synchronicity.
can be downloaded then, all right?
That's
Because
true.
you're in the right vibe. So
That's it.
it's work together, please. Work together with your animals. And
Yes,
a quick question: do animals have jealousy of each other if there's a few of
they
them
can.
around?
Yep, yep. But usually it's a misunderstanding of what it is. Like at the moment, I'm working with someone who has a dog that's a puppy that's about a year old, and also one that's about 4 or 5 months old. And the older one's a little bit jealous of the younger one because they think they didn't
Getting more
understand
attention.
that
Hmm.
yeah, and didn't understand that they were just getting the younger one as a companion and a playmate.
Hmm.
Thought it was a replacement because he wasn't doing a good enough job.
Ah, right.
So we're working through that at the moment. So yeah.
I mean, just like you would when a sibling, comes in,
Mm,
when you have another child, it's like this is your baby sister or brother, your big brother, and give them something to do to be a part of it. And then
Yep.
they realize oh, this is an extension. You don't love
Yes.
me less. It's just there's more love to go around, right? So,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
animals
exactly.
have so much love to give. They don't bottom out on love, do they?
Yeah, they're good. They're really good. Yes.
Yeah, oh, this has been great. And just, kind of around the Christmas period people get stressed out. They pull the crackers, they get banged. A lot of we didn't touch on that, but a lot of animals do not like the bangs or the fireworks.
That's true.
I had one that literally would froth at the mouth. We had to tranquilize them every time there were fireworks.
Wow.
And it
Hmm.
came back, I think, from the kennel days, because we got her from
Yeah.
a kennel, and I think every time she heard a bang, we lost her over one Christmas, and she ended up guarding the Belgium consulate, and our doctor went
Wow.
there and found her, but she was so utterly freaked out with bangs. And it's
Yeah.
like, if your animal does have something that it makes it nervous, please be aware of it. It's not being bad. It's this is obviously a trigger of something,
Mm.
and maybe you can
Mm.
ask it what it is, but please honor the fact in that it's scared, and be careful with that.
Yeah. And one good tip to have, like if you've got some child safety gates,
Hmm.
you can put them up in your house that keeps your animals safe, but they still can see through them, so they still feel part
Yeah.
of the what's going on with the house. Whereas if you actually close a door, they kind of feel a bit left out and forgotten. But
Yes.
if you've got a child safety gate, then they can still feel as though they're part of the what's going on as well.
Yeah, there was a video online of a dog um, on the other side of the gate and just staying there, even though there was a huge gap that it could get around.
Yeah.
It was staying there because the gate had been put there and waiting for that permission. So it was quite interesting. And then you've got the
Yeah.
dog at the animal shelter, unlocking all the cages and letting all the animals out.
Oh, I like that dog
Yeah, I
too.
do too. Come on, mate, let's go.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Party.
Yeah, and they do like to party. They do.
Mm,
Yeah, they
mm.
like a good time just as much as us. And if you're joyful and partying, this Christmas, great. When the fights break out, though, you're going to disturb the dog,
Yes.
right? You're going to
Yes.
disturb the cat or any other animal you've got in the house. You're going to disturb them. So be
Yes.
cognitive of that and say, no, it's not just bad for the children, it's bad for the animals, right? Let's just
Yes.
pull
Yes.
ourselves in here and behave.
And
Uh,
just watch all the food. Make sure that the animals don't get into our food, because not because I don't want to share, but because a lot of our food's not good for them. It's not
right,
good for us
exactly.
either, but it's not good for them. So
Yes, don't leave
yeah.
the turkey unattended on the table. They know how
Oh
to
no.
climb.
Exactly. And they've been smelling it cooked just like
Oh
we have.
yes, yes. And I would actually lay a plate, on the ground for the cat and dog of the turkey. So
Yep.
they felt they had it too, right? So
Yes.
include them, please. Include them, right?
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
just give
And
them their ordinary dry food that night. Put some gravy, turkey juice or
yes.
skin or something on it. Let them feel that
Yes.
they're a part of that. Otherwise, it's torture.
Exactly. Poor thing. And they
Yeah.
might behave badly to try and give you a message.
Exactly, exactly. Yes, up yours, parents.
Exactly.
Where's me turkey? So
Oh dear.
just a quick note there. My dog unzipped my daughter's bag, got it into her headache pills that she had at school, ibuprofen, undid the
Yep.
cap and swallowed two or three of that, which is so deadly for
Oh,
them, ibuprofen
yeah.
especially. She lost like 7 pounds in a few days. Kidneys were challenged and
Oh,
everything. Fortunately, she was okay. We got her back. But we thought we had everything tied up tight. It's in the
yep.
school bag, in the container, but she still
Yep.
managed to get in it. And I don't know
Wow.
what message she was trying to give us at that time, but that was just,
Mm, that would be an interesting one to go and have a look at.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. But it,
Mm.
it ended up hurting her, which I didn't like to see. So we
No,
got, we got
exactly.
to be mindful that they don't always know everything that's good for them, even because they work on a cosmic level,
Mm,
and that, just be sensible. Please just be sensible, right?
yeah. Yeah. And having some pet-free zones is not a bad thing.
Yeah,
That it's
exactly.
everybody relax then.
Hmm.
Mm,
Yeah,
so
if you're worrying about your animal reacting, yes, as you
yeah.
said, have it over in another place it can see you, but there's the boundaries, and if the kids are running wild, then you're not worried,
Yes. Yes.
right?
And the elderly, you don't want them to trip over
Yes.
Like as we were talking about before with the cats, just loving
Yes.
them. You
Yes.
don't want anyone to be hurt and to trip over. And that could, if they land on a dog or a cat, then not only can they hurt themselves, but they can hurt the animal as well.
Right. You know, the dog mistaking grandpa's, walking stick.
For a treat. Whoops.
So yeah, just be mindful, please. Just be mindful. An
Yeah.
animal is your responsibility, just as your children are, right?
Yes.
You're a
Yes.
custodian of your animal, and they're there to give you as much love and
Yes.
support and joy in your life. But it's a two-way street, mate. You've got to look after your animal as well and pay
That's
attention.
true.
Right.
That's certainly true. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
So
Joanne, for being here today and sharing all your wonderful knowledge.
thank you for your invitation. It's been so much fun. It's been
Well,
really good.
they're just, I mean, what would a world be without animals? It wouldn't be worth living. It wouldn't,
No, be a
definitely
lot
not.
sadder place, wouldn't
Oh, would be,
it?
especially just as humans. No, we need the animals in our life to keep us in check, most
True.
certainly, right? To keep
True.
us, I can't say human, I would say kind of human beings, because when we're being, we're at a higher level, right?
Hmm.
So, yeah,
Hmm.
and please
Yes,
don't somebody say, "Oh, behaving like a dog," then that's a compliment.
exactly.
Do not use
Exactly.
it in a decorative way.
Yes.
Definitely not. Thank you so
Terrific.
much, love. And for
Thank
everybody
you,
else
Sarah.
out there, don't forget to buy your animals, your dog, especially in cats, treats for Christmas. They like
Yes,
opening presents as well. They're getting
exactly.
into all the excitement. If they get overexcited, yes, give them their time out, their boundary. Don't punish them for it because they're picking up on your energy, please. So
Yeah,
be mindful,
exactly.
please. All right. And be loving. Until
Mhm.
next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.